We will have a national emergency, and we will then be sued, and they will sue us in the Ninth Circuit, even though it shouldn't be there. And we will possibly get a bad ruling, and then we'll get another bad ruling, and then we'll end up in the Supreme Court, and hopefully we'll get a fair shake, and we'll win in the Supreme Court, just like the ban.
President Trump declaring the situation at the border a national emergency to fund the border wall and predicting the legal fight ahead. With all the fighting in Washington, not many people realize just how dangerous the situation is for the border agents on the ground. Tomi Lahren got a first-hand look for Fox Nation.
This area right now, this is our border protected by this barbed wire fencing and, wood. Would this area be suitable for fencing if you could afford fencing to put here?
The way the terrain's set up, it's viable to construct border fencing in this area.
We had learned over the years that when we put a solid barrier we couldn't see through, our adversaries, whether it be drug smugglers, illegal aliens, or smugglers, would hide behind them and then use it to basically assault our agents, throw rocks at our agents, or just hide like lots and lots of people and then all at one time run across.
Would this then line your border? One of these prototypes would then line your border?
That design right there is basically what we're looking at going forward.
This is inhospitable terrain, not only for them, but also for us. It's difficult for us to deploy technology into these areas. So we have to make up for that by either using aircraft or just having agents on the ground hiking in. And that's where the real work of the Border Patrol comes into play.
The agents have to get up here either by us or by foot. We had a 100-foot long fast rope, which is a rope about the diameter of a fireman's pole that you can slide down.
We're roughly 8 miles north of the border, and we encounter camouflage groups. They wear like a real tree or a Moscow type camo from head to toe.
It's fine for us to arrest people that have crossed the border illegally, but the true targets and the true people that we want to hit hard every single day are the facilitators. It's the scouts on the mountaintops. It's the guys that are foot guides for the groups that are bringing them across. It's the load drivers and all of the criminals that are facilitating this illegal trafficking of people. There's absolutely no value on human life when it comes to the cartel that's operating south of the border. The people that are crossing have no say in when they're crossing, where they're crossing, or how they're crossing. They're being crossed in the hands of criminals, and it's a dangerous situation.
Tomi Lahren joins me now. So, Tomi, when you were shooting the inhospitable terrain and those men were kind of just climbing down off of a helicopter and pursuing illegal crossings on foot, where exactly was that?
That was in the Nogales, Tucson area in Arizona, and it was about 115 degrees when we were there. So what these guys are doing day in and day out, they're hiking into the middle of their desert, they're hiking back. Some areas, it's so remote that they can't even take ATVs. So these people are the real heroes of this country, and they don't get nearly enough credit. So
some of that inhospitable terrain, it was almost like huge mountaintops and cliffs. You couldn't put border fencing there. That's where you'd have to just surge a lot of Border Patrol agents, correct?
Yeah, and so that's what I asked them about, because obviously that area is not really suitable for a lot of fencing or a wall, but if we have wall in other places where we can put a wall, then our agents can focus on those remote areas.
Exactly.
So when I went there, I asked them time and time again, does a wall work? And they said, we need a wall because then we can focus on these areas and we don't have to be sitting there worrying about people running across, and we can divert our efforts. It really makes sense, but the Democrats can't seem to get it.
Yeah, they don't want to listen to the experts. They think they know better than the people on the ground. When you, in the beginning of the package, could you see where you kind of highlighted that pathetic little fence? It was about as tall, about 5 feet tall here, with some little barbed wire. Where exactly was that?
That was in Arizona as well, in the Nogales area. And yes. Yeah, and it was that bad. I mean, that was not just a small little area. There was a lot of area that either had no fencing at all or had that. I mean, I think you and I have talked about this before, but I grew up in South Dakota, and we have better fencing to keep livestock in than we do protecting our border, which is really pathetic.
Well, the Democrats don't want meat around. They want to get rid of your hamburger, like Cory Booker. So that fencing could come in handy later. What a lot of people don't understand, Tomi, is they say, oh, the drugs, all the narcotics, they come through ports of entry. But you know what? Who do you think deals the drugs? You have to have men. And the guys that are dealing it in the United States, they cross the border illegally on foot between the ports of entry. Listen, great job down there on the border. That was great footage. And you guys can check that out with Tomi on Fox Nation. See you later.